Lesson 42, Review. This particular lesson is a good place for us to take a break and take stock of everything you have learned so far. We've reached the border between the part of the book that teaches the alphabet and the sounds of the language and the part of the book where we start to go into sentences and grammar and verbs and things like that. So this lesson is right on the border between the first major section of the book and the second major section of the book. So this is a good place for us to take a break and review. So here we have assembled a list of 8 different concepts that we really would like for you to internalize as you move forward into the remainder of the book. 8 big concepts to remember as you go along. Item number 1, the Russian alphabet is largely based on the Greek alphabet. A lot of the letters are the same. They were just borrowed directly from Greek to become characters of the Cyrillic alphabet. Item number 2, Russian letters have an uppercase and lowercase form, but most of the time they look the same. So that's really to your benefit as a language learner. You really only have a few letters that have more than one form. And out of those letters that do have more than one form, 2 or 3 of them look just like the uppercase and lowercase forms of our English letters. So this is really not difficult. You really just have to learn one form of each Russian letter. Item number 3, the roof of your mouth is called the palate. The part of the roof of your mouth that's more toward the front, we call that the hard palate because there's bone above it. But as you go to the back of your mouth, there's a place called the soft palate, which is soft and squishy because there's no bone there. And so in Russian, we have this thing called palatalization. It's the concept of raising the tongue to the roof of the mouth, and it gives certain letters and sounds in Russian a sort of a "ya" kind of quality. That sort of "ya" sound is mixed in with many of the sounds. And that's something you really need to master as you try to learn Russian. And to me, that's what really gives someone an authentic Russian accent, is if they can mix the palatalization in with the sounds they make. So that's something for you to strive for as you move forward. Item number 4, Russian consonants can be hard or soft. So a consonant that we call a hard consonant, you do not palatalize it. But when a consonant is what we call soft, having a soft pronunciation, that means that it will be palatalized. And as a student of Russian, you want to try to get an authentic sounding palatalization because that really is the nature of many of the sounds in the Russian language. Item number 5 is very important. Palatalization is not something that you add on to the end of a consonant. It's not something that happens after a consonant. Instead, it's mixed in with the sound of the consonant. The sound of that consonant is colored by the palatalization. The tone quality of the consonant is affected by the tongue position. So it gets mixed in with the actual pronunciation of the consonant. It's not something that you just simply tag on to the end of a consonant. They're simultaneous. So that's a really important concept to understand as you try to approach pronunciation. Item number 6, for each kind of Russian vowel sound, we have 2 consonants that make that kind of general sound. One of them is the palatalized kind, the other is the non-palatalized kind. So we can think of Russian vowels as coming in pairs. One of them indicates that the previous consonant is hard, the other indicates that the previous consonant is soft. So as you think about Russian vowels, think about how there are 2 vowels working sort of as a team or as a pair to handle that kind of vowel sound, but in 2 varieties, hard, and soft. Number 7 is extremely important. Whether or not a syllable is stressed makes a huge difference as far as pronunciation goes. If a syllable receives the stress, that can really change the sound of the vowel on that syllable. And then, on the other hand, if a letter comes right before the stressed syllable, if it's just a quick sound leading up to a stressed syllable, that vowel sound can change dramatically. It can become what we call a reduced vowel. So as you go forward in your Russian studies, pay careful attention to whether a letter is on a stressed syllable or an unstressed syllable. That's really something to be aware of as you go along. And finally, item number 8, Russian is usually not written with accents, but we put them in this book as an aid to learning. You do see accents on Russian letters in books like textbooks, dictionaries, and such like that. This is a textbook, and so we're going to put accents on the words to help you remember what syllable receives the accent. For example, the word machina here. And then finally, we end this review lesson with a complete rendering of the Russian alphabet. Sergey, could you just read the Russian alphabet for us and just let us hear a native Russian speaker just go through the alphabet?
Sure, no problem. A, B, V, G, D, Е, Ё, Ж, З, И краткая, or shortened I, K, L, M, N, O, P, R, S, T, U, F, H, C, Ч, Ш, Щ, твердый знак, or hard sign, Y, мягкий знак, or soft sign, Е, Ю, Я.